Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to perform a clean installation of Windows 10 operating system from the USB thumb drive, like this one. Clean installation is good when there is no operating system is currently installed on your computer, or you want to completely erase your current operating system and install Windows 10 from the ground up. So first we'll create the USB installation disk, then we'll perform the actual installation. Now before we begin, let's look at the Windows 10 system requirements and make sure our destination computer is compatible. As we can see here, our destination computer needs to have at least 1 GHz processor, at least 1 GB of RAM for 32-bit Windows 10 and 2 GB of RAM for 64-bit of Windows 10. It is important to say here that 32-bit Windows cannot deal with more than 3 GB of RAM. So if your computer has 4 GB or more, please install 64-bit version of Windows, because otherwise your computer won't be able to use all your RAM. Hard disk space: at least 16 GB of free space on a hard disk drive for 32-bit version of Windows and 20 GB for 64-bit version of Windows 10. Graphic card with at least DirectX 9 support and monitor with resolution at least 800 pixels by 600 pixels. Normally, if your destination computer is compatible with Windows 7 or Windows 8, you should be fine with running Windows 10 on it too. Here's what we're going to need to install Windows 10 from the USB thumb drive. To perform certain operations, we're going to need to have a computer or laptop running Windows of any version, but with administrator privileges, which is important, and of course connected to the internet, because we're going to need to download a few programs. USB 2 or USB 3 thumb drive, both will do, with 4 GB or more disk space capacity. And of course our own Microsoft Windows 10 copy, either on DVD or an ISO image file. Okay, if you're ready, let's get started. Alright, let's create Windows 10 installation USB disk. If you bought your Windows 10 copy on a DVD disk but you still want to install it from the USB thumb drive, in case you don't have a DVD drive in your destination computer, you're going to need to convert your DVD disk into an ISO image file. To do that, open your browser and enter dvd2iso.com. When page loads up, go ahead and click download here and in the middle to download the program. The program is tiny, it shouldn't take us long to get downloaded. Alright, let's run the installation from here. Go ahead, click next. I would highly recommend you to read through this license agreement, and if you agree, check I accept the agreement radio button here and click next. Next, 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 install. Let's run it right away. Alright, as you can see, this is a fairly simple program. In this section, DVD drive is basically, this program detects your DVD drive and your Windows 10 DVD disk inserted into. ISO file is basically asking us where are we going to save our ISO output file that we are going to create from Windows 10 DVD disk. Alright, let's hit save as here and save it as a Win10 image file. Hit save over here and let's click create. Now this will take us a few minutes, so let me pause this video and be back to you when it's done. Alright, we're done here. Now go ahead and close it, and as we can see, here's our Windows 10 image that we've just created. We're now good to go and create the USB installation disk. Now that we have our Windows 10 image ISO file ready to go, let's go ahead and open the browser and download the program Rufus that we're going to use to create the USB installation disk. Rufus, enter rufus.akeo.ie, scroll it down a little bit and find this Rufus 2.4 download link and click on it to download the program. You might see a newer version that would be just fine. Go ahead and download it. Now let's run it. Well, as you can see, it's a little bit more tricky, but still not so hard. Now go ahead and insert the USB thumb drive. First thing I would do, I would select the image that we created or download it. In this partition scheme and target system type, I would typically choose the GPT for GPT partition scheme for UEFI, because I'm sure that my computer supports UEFI. If you're not sure whether or not your computer supports UEFI, go ahead and choose first option MBR partition scheme for BIOS or UEFI CSM. Once we're done here, we're ready to start creating the USB installation disk. Now let's go ahead and click start. It warns us that all data will be gone, so just make sure that you have saved or backed up everything valuable from this USB thumb drive. Then click OK. Now this should take a few minutes, so let me just pause this video and be back to you when it's done. Alright, we have successfully created Windows 10 USB installation disk. Now that we have our USB installation disk on hand, let's start our computer, or as we call it, boot up our computer from this USB thumb drive. Let me show you how to do that. To boot up your computer from a removable device like USB thumb drive, in this case, you need to turn off or restart your computer, and at the very start, when computer logo pops up, press one of the buttons I listed here. I have indicated some of the most popular key options for different computer brands. On some PCs or laptops, you might need to disable Quick Boot feature in BIOS in order to be able to trigger a boot menu. Some older PCs and laptops don't even have a boot menu function. In this case, you need to enter BIOS by pressing Delete or F2 button and manually adjust the boot order and choose USB device as first boot device. Let me show you an example using my own HP laptop. It is currently turned off, and the USB installation disk that we created a moment ago is inserted into the USB port of this computer. Now let's press the power button and turn it on like this, and let's wait for HP logo to show up. Here it is. Now we press F9 to launch boot menu. Okay, boot option menu showed up. We have to choose here, among other devices, our USB thumb drive, which in this case is named Jet Flash Transcend. Press enter, and now let's confirm. Press any button to boot from USB. Now as soon as we see Windows 10 logo, it means that we have launched the Windows 10 installation process. Okay, in this window we can choose some original settings. Language to install is basically the Windows interface language. If you have more options here, go ahead and choose the right language for you. Time and currency format is basically the time zone and currency settings for your current location. Keyboard or input method is simply the keyboard layout that you're going to use. I'm going to stick with the default settings here and click next. Here I hit install now. Okay, license terms, please read it carefully, and if you agree, check this box over here and click next. Which type of installation do we want? Well, we want a custom installation because this is not an upgrade. We don't have any files to keep any settings or applications. Let's choose custom. Where do we want to install Windows? Well, we're going to install it to the hard disk drive that we see over here. But before we install, let's create a few partitions for C drive and D drive. Let's click new here and let's set the size for this C drive. Let's enter 100,000 megabytes, which roughly equals 100 gigabytes. Windows is notifying us that it will create an additional partition for the system files. That's fine, let's agree on that. This is additional partition here. Now drive 0 partition 2 here we are going to dedicate for the C drive where we're going to install the system. And the rest of the unallocated space we're going to dedicate to the D drive. Let's not change anything here. Let's just use the entire space that left. Hit apply here. Let's format it right away so we can use it right away. Okay, before we click next here, make sure that you select drive 0 partition 2 in this case, which we dedicated for the C drive, to make sure that Windows will be installed to the C drive. Okay, whenever you're ready, click next. Okay, Windows has started copying its files. Let me pause the video and be back to you when it's done. Okay, Windows has just completed copying its files to the hard disk drive. You can unplug the USB installation disk right now. Let's hit restart, let computer to do its thing. It will restart a few times. Let's just wait until the next window will show up. Okay, Windows settings. I'm gonna use Express settings here, but if you want to customize them, you can click here. I'm gonna go ahead and use Express settings and click right here. Okay, now we need to create a user. Let's put the name of the user. You can pick basically any name that you want. I'll just put my name. If you want to set the password, you can do it here. I'm not gonna set any password, so I'm just going to go ahead and click next to move forward. Okay, we now see the Windows 10 desktop, which means that we have successfully installed Windows 10. Congratulations! Alright, we've just learned how to install Windows 10 from the USB thumb drive. If you have questions or thoughts, please leave me a comment right under this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss our coming videos. Thanks for watching.